Nobody has a monopoly of knowledge. There's a quote that they put out for us, and the quote was saying that sometimes even the wisest might make mistakes, and even the strongest might weaken. So, however strong you are, you might need your brother. However intelligent or wise you think you may be, you'll also need your brother who you think is not very wise. So this issue of people thinking they know it all and they can do without other people is the problem I can relate back to our country. I find this issue of knowledge is the biggest problem in the sense that people are not willing to incorporate the ideas of other people. So you want it to be a one-man show, you want yourself to be the one doing everything, and you neglect the ideas of other people, which might be just as important as your own ideas, if not more so. Would be better agents of positive change, in the sense that usually a man's instinct will force him to resort to war. And yes, in certain cases, you find that war has brought solutions, but those are not lasting solutions. You find at the end of the day, the lasting solutions come through non-violence. They come through negotiations and diplomacy. And women are the best change, especially when it comes to diplomacy. So if we can include women in our decision-making systems, I believe we can have a better country and a better world. In almost all cases, it is the old men who will argue and disagree. But at the end of the day, it is the youth, as the young men, who will go and fight and die for their disagreements, which I actually think is not right.
I would advise the other youth in South Sudan to have the spirit of love, to understand each other, to remove the hatred between them, and always the revenge, and always be together in order to develop our country.
I would like to tell the youth that, we are tired of being exploited, we are tired of living in exile, we are tired of dying for these old men. I think it's time that we start speaking up for ourselves and stop listening to the interests of other people that don't benefit us as youth. Okay, the message I can send to JESUIT HAKIMANI, first and foremost, I'd like to appreciate their efforts, and I would like to say that I am very humbled, that someone who is actually not South Sudanese could be so concerned to the extent of getting South Sudanese to come and teach them how to solve their own problems. First and foremost, I would say the ideas and the knowledge they've given us here should not die here. They should put in more effort and see to it that they make us the agents of change. A wise man once said that, be the change you seek. So let's not look to other people to be the change we want. Let JESUIT HAKIMANI use us, as well as other youths that they can train to go and impact a difference down there on the ground.
We can never receive something new, such as peace, reconciliation, love, trust, without us removing this from us. This is junk. There is a saying, it says that you cannot receive something new unless you remove yesterday's junk. So this is the junk we have. This is like when you have a dustbin that is full of rubbish, you cannot put more rubbish, or you cannot put anything new or clean it unless you remove this. This is what we have inside us. I expected I expected, and I still do, that the workshop we did here, it influenced the students, the youth, in one way or the other, that they could be able to remove this from our hearts, to remove this hatred, to remove the guilt, the revenge we have inside us, the hate, the bitterness, envy, shame, all this is, we don't need this. This is not us South Sudanese. We can be better than this. We need things such as love, trust, care, understanding, peace, reconciliation, dialogue. This is who we are. This is who we can be as South Sudanese. Alone you cannot do much at all. You need to be together. You need someone with you. They say no man is an island. And today in this workshop, I have understood exactly what that concept means. No man is an island. Togetherness, because especially this conference has touched us in a way that right now, when we sat in that class, we realized what we do, but most of us, the students who attended the conference, are from Catholic University of Eastern Africa. So I've realized that most of us have felt that what we do at the school is not really what we should be doing, as we want to see change in our country. We've been always grouping ourselves, putting ourselves in squares. Each person from different tribes sat with their tribesmate, and that wasn't the way we want to see change, and that is not the way we can see change, because in this conference we have learned that change starts by ourselves. We did know that from the beginning, but this way it was more explanatory, more refreshing and more touching, that how we can be agents of change, how we can be peacemakers and peace builders back in our hometown.
Leaders of Africa are very amazing, and I agreed with him. When they are united, they will loot us. And when they are divided, it's even worse, they will kill us, which is exactly what is happening in South Sudan. Today, I'm speaking to you youth. It's time for us to love ourselves. We must begin to love ourselves and refrain from following these individuals I love to call ethnic warlords that like to mobilize from their ethnic background to support them. You know, it's very funny these days, if these individuals in senior most positions in the government are removed from power because of their evil deeds such as corruption, they will go back to their ethnic background and start mobilizing you youth to follow them. And in fact, they will tell you that we are being attacked, and we must now liberate or start conflicting. And in fact, it is for their personal interest, not your interest. Now you need to start loving yourself instead of loving somebody who want to gain from you. From the documentary, it was a very beautiful documentary, and I learned a lot. That documentary actually it's exactly as if they extracted that story from my country, which is South Sudan. Two clans were conflicting, and the main characters such as Kiki, Eva, and Tembea acted as leaders, and they were mobilizing their clan members to attack the opponent clan, which is exactly what is happening in South Sudan. Women stand a ground to bring solutions to every conflict. So we should now begin to engage our women in peace, justice, and reconciliation process. My message is this. From that documentary, we learn at the end of it, they resort to peaceful solution. We still have chances, South Sudanese, but still we need to sustain that peace. My message to JESUIT HAKIMANI Center. First of all, I lack word to thank you enough for what you are doing to young people of South Sudan. Exactly, you targeted the right population to work with. Thank you very much. I am still urging you to partner with other international organizations so that your network will be very big. You can reach a very big population for that matter. You are doing a very great job. You are educating youth on issues that affect them. And this is on the right time, and I appreciate you. As I said, I lack word to thank you for this.
To get this teaching, to get this instruction, please take it subjectively and apply it. Apply it first among yourself. Let there not be mention of I am a Latuka, I am a Madi, etc. South Sudan has ushered peace, and that means you too should usher this peace into yourself. And additionally, with this knowledge, you will be peer educators to those who are back at home. We are very privileged that the church has continued to put us in the core of their heart. If you know the history of our struggle, the church has never left us behind, and especially the Jesuit congregation has always been with us in this journey of the struggle. So peace has come back home. Take care of yourselves here as you study. I one time said, be like a bee, collect the right nectar from here and take it back home and begin to apply within your small domain.
My message to our people in South Sudan would be to maintain peace always and avoid violence, because with peace, everything is always in place. That in resolving conflicts, we should always go to the grassroots of the problems. We shouldn't be ashamed or we shouldn't be afraid to tell in detail what the problem is. Don't run away from it, because it's when we get the grassroots problems is when we get the solution to the problems. You just don't say there's a problem and don't really touch on it and what it is. You really need to go in depth and get what the problem is so that it will be easier to get solutions to them.
The first thing I have to say about JESUIT HAKIMANI Center is to appreciate the work that they have done for this seminar, which has a greater impact on our students, especially creating a unity among us that we don't have before. I can give an example, like those days when we called for meetings or another gathering as a South Sudanese in the university. We never had that big number that we had in the last 2 days.
My message to JESUIT HAKIMANI Center would be to continue with this forum because it helps a lot into educating young South Sudanese about the need for peace and reconciliation, and also how to go about certain issues without necessarily having to employ violence.
Now I believe that the peace has come, but there is no trust. We need to restore that trust again. We need to know that we, as the people of South Sudan, we are the same people of one nation, one blood, one God.
This has been for us very important to come and attend this 2 days workshop training. I think to me, as one of the students here, he's studying in Nairobi, it is really very, very important for us as we will be going back to our country, not only after our studies here. Anytime we go for our holidays, we have to take this message back to our political leaders, church leaders, community leaders, even our parents, to talk to them about the importance of peace, no to conflict, no to war, no to gunshot.
We should practice peace, not for the sake of what we should practice from our innermost heart. We should try to forgive each other. Forgiveness does not mean that we just forgive and we don't forget, but we have to forgive and we have to forget anything that happened before. In that way, we should move ahead.
لا ربنا قم حريت الطب طيب